for me. If you stop in, you want to say hi, that's fine. I'll say hi. I'm trying to monitor. Whoa, that's loud, right? Hold on. My God. Oh, that was startling. That's all right. Yeah. What we're gonna do is we are going to add our own music. Of course, it didn't take. Hold on. Got it. All right. Save. Save it that time. We just keep everything the way it is. We can do that. Graphics, high. Yeah. I wonder. We'll see what the benchmark says. I'm always wondering. Not always. It's not like it's always on my mind or anything. But if you are scrolling by, I know I am one of but hundreds of thousands of people that are just like, hey, just chatting, come in and say hi. Who knows? We could have a good conversation. Let's see. Current team. Let's see. What kind of FPS are we going to get? This poor computer is literally doing everything. It's a great computer, but it's doing everything. It's not awful. It has a lot going on, and it is what it has. Wow, these benchmarks take a while, don't they? If you're scrolling by, stop! Stop and say hi. Yeah. Okay, while it's doing that, I'm going to start the pretzel. I guess that's what you would officially call it, the pretzel. And if you don't like it, you can turn it down or you can change it. We'll just make that faint in the background. And I bet you I screwed this up. Yep, nope. Actually, I paused this, so that was kind of cool. So I've been playing Car Mechanic Simulator since it came out. And it's just a ton of fun. Let's see, Windows 11, da-da-da-da-da. Sweet. So now we can go back and we can find a random car to build, and we can have a chat if you feel like chatting. Looks like I've got some money. I kind of found this issue with the McLaren. I think it was the F1, to where you can build them and then turn around and sell them for way more. I don't know if they fixed that or not, but that's kind of how I got the money that I have. I mean, I put the work in. That's how it goes. So if you're walking by, I'm playing Car Mechanic Simulator. I'm just chatting tonight, really. This kind of gives me something to do and something for anybody that's going to stop by to look at. Oh, wow, I have nothing here. Nothing. Like, nothing at all. Anything in the car wash? There's nothing here. That poses a problem if I'm trying to build a car. So, I can either go to the garage, or we can go to the junkyard and we can go find a new car. Let's do that. Let's go to the junkyard. And let's find a car to build. The junkyard, for some reason, takes forever to load. And here we are at this amazing junkyard. But you can't get into any of these. They're just, like, there. You can't do anything with them. Let's see, what's this? We have... I have no idea what this is. Do I want to build a car like this? Let's see. Buy a car. It's a Royale. It's like a Royale with cheese. It's not in good condition, and you do a lot of work, and you don't get a whole lot of money back out of it. I've got a few DLCs installed. I don't remember what they are, so I am not very helpful. I have not played this game and it's been a little while. But usually if I've had a busy week, this is a good game just to kind of zone out in, and of course it doesn't help if there's no cars. Wait, there's a car over here. We missed one. This looks like a 300. But this is called a SCEO LX550, and we don't want that. I was hoping for something exciting. Anything down the aisles? Nope, nope, nope. There is nothing here. This was a bust. It looks like a 370. Oh, it's actually, it's not a Z. What is this? What is this called? A Ribsan Z530, of course. And there's nothing. This was a bust. All right, so we're going to go back to the garage. It always asks if you want to pick up parts, and I don't stock parts because I'm at the point in the game where I can kind of repair everything. Hello, viewer. I hope you're doing well. If you have a topic you want to talk about that's suitable, we can always chat. I'm just kind of playing Car Mechanic Simulator because it's a good time killer and there's something to look at other than this. I mean, this isn't terrible, but I hope your weekend was good. I hope that everybody is stopping by, their weekend was great. It was cold here. I am in the wonderful state of Utah. It was chilly. The snow's melting. But hopefully we got some good, some good moisture, that type of thing. And if you want to know a little bit more about me, you can actually type it in the chat and I can read it. Hopefully, actually, you know what? If you could type something into the chat and I can make sure that it comes up. And if you don't like the music, I've got it to where you can change it. Right now it's just kind of background music, some ambient stuff. Oh, that looks interesting. I think I've built one of these. Yeah, the Holden Effigy. That's interesting. Dual overhead cam, supercharged V8, 700 horsepower and 868 foot-pounds of torque. Let's take a round and see if there's anything else. We might actually build that. I forget what they call the not a Mustang. Oh no, this is actually a Mustang. I don't remember if I built one of those. I don't really care about the condition of the vehicles. I can just kind of pick them up. There we go. We'll do a BMW. I actually have a 2008. Oh, I'm sorry. This is an FMW Panther. You have to pay for all the rights to all the stuff to put into your games, and clearly FMW was not taken. It resembles the brand that shall not be named. So I had a good weekend. I was still tidying up after the holidays. There we go. There's our money maker right there. Yep. This thing needs everything. Okay, we can do this. And it's just a basic McLaren F1. It's not the race car, which is great. So I think we're going to buy this. Let's see. And the buying price is 1.5 million, which is fine. And we want that in the garage. Oh no, wait. We want it in car parking. Ah, now I got to transfer stuff. That's all right. Go to the garage. So if you've got any questions for me, feel free to ask. I'm a disabled veteran. I stream once in a while. It's been a lot more frequently lately, which is fine. I've also had some podcasts with some interesting people. Yeah, so I think I've led an interesting life. Here we go. I sent it to the right spot. So we need to move this car over to the car wash and see how terrible it is. We don't even know what color this thing is. Is it that papaya orange? I would think so. Sure. We're going to clean the interior too while we're here. So at least everything's tidy. You know, the interesting thing about the papaya orange paint that McLaren was using was when color TVs just started coming out, they painted their original race cars were I think like British racing green. And when color TV came out, their cars weren't standing out, so you would watch a race and you couldn't determine what cars were on the McLaren team. So they started painting them the papaya orange so you could see them easier. I bet you didn't know that. The more you know. Yeah. All right, so this car needs one of everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to disassemble this whole thing. Actually, we're going to repair what we can first. So we use our little welder because welders fix carbon fiber. That's real. That is a real thing. Like, you don't need to Google it, but you need to know that that is 100% facts, and I'm not full of it. All right, so we're going to take everything off of this car. It needs everything. All the panels are screwed up. But the nice thing is... Oh, that's got a spoiler on it. I didn't realize that. Trunk, we are stripping this thing absolutely bare. Doors, glass, and everything. Let's see, take off that hood scoop. Looks pretty naked. Alright, nope, we gotta take that off. And... Alright, so now we need to make the determination. Actually, we'll just rebuild this engine. It's kind of easier to do that, and it may actually take me a little while to do this, but you know what? If you've got stuff you guys want to talk about, we can just chat, listen to music, relax. You know, not everything's got to be full-blown craziness, you know. But I love mechanical games. I was in the Army. I was a Bradley mechanic, and back in the day, that was a 63 Tango, and I loved that job. I went into the Army knowing nothing about turning wrenches. I'd help my dad here and there with you know, busting tires at some of the places he was working at, you know, and studding snow tires, which is a big thing, and not the most fun job. Like, it's literally a pneumatic little thing that plugs in a stud into the tires. And that job was awful. And I remember not being very old. And, but I was old enough to handle myself and understand the machinery. And my payment, one was character, because he says it builds character. So I did it. I did it for my dad. And the other was it was a sandwich from Subway. Yep. That was my pay. And I was totally fine with it because I got to spend time with my dad. And to this day, those memories are just ingrained in my head. Like, they're not going anywhere. I'll forever remember that. And that was, I'm 46 now, so it was maybe 20 years ago. So it was a while ago, but the Subway was right across the street, and I remember he'd give me some cash and be like, "Hey, go get us something to eat," and it's like, heck yeah, sweet. So I grew up on an island just north of Seattle, Whidbey Island, and there was no fast food. Like, even to this day, I think they closed down the one fast food chain they had on the island, and that was Dairy Queen. The island's a little strange in that manner, but so anytime I got fast food, you know, or like a sandwich like that, it was kind of like a treat. So I was totally down to go stud tires for, you know, 4 or 5 hours, you know, hanging out with my dad and getting a sandwich, you know. And those are memories. So anytime if you're younger, your parents are like, you know, I want to spend time with you, that type of thing. Don't pass it up, because you'll remember it. All right, what am I missing here? I am clearly missing something because my suspension's not coming apart. Oh, okay, I need to drop the rack and pinion from underneath the car. That makes sense. Because you can't really do it while it's on the ground. It's kind of like that when you're working on your own car, if you work on your own car. All right, message from my wife. Did you take the trash out? Of course I did. Of course I took the trash out. There are times that I forget. So sometimes I feel that she's, you know, kind of bugging me a little bit, but there's a good reason for that. Hold on. Let me adjust the camera. Oh my gosh. I haven't played this game in so long, so I'm just kind of remembering how everything goes. When you get it and you just start playing, it's a lot of fun, but you're like, holy cow, why is everything so nitpicky? It's not that bad. My son recently got me the VR version of this, which I still haven't played. I just have been absolutely swamped, busy. And so I'm interested to see how that plays out. That might be interesting to stream. You know, we can always chat about that. Would you be interested in seeing a VR version of this? Yep, I just jetted through the car. So when the bolts are orange like that, you have to right click, and that breaks out the penetrating fluid, the WD-40, whatever you want to call it. And it kind of helps break all the rust loose, because if you can see, all the parts are very, very worn. And what's cool is that this thing cost me 1.5. It's gonna cost... It costs quite a bit to rebuild this car, but I'll be able to turn it around and sell it probably, I think, for like 14 or 15 million. And like the real life price of these cars has just gone nuts, like 20, I think 20 million dollars, 30 maybe. I mean, that's just insane. Like I remember when this car came out, and everybody was like, oh, this car topped 200 mile an hour. I was like, no way. And now there's a guy that just made a, he took a Ford GT, like the first gen Ford GT, not the classic, of course. And he made that car do something absurd, like 316 miles per hour. I mean, it's just nuts, you know, beating out, I think the new Bugatti something or other. It's like the Veyron or the Pure Sport or something. Bugatti's got several cars out that just are insane, absolutely insane. Those are all cars not in my league. I have a 2008 BMW 335 that I love, and it breaks, of course, because it's a BMW. But it gives me a chance to work on it and, you know, not be so rusty when it comes to turning wrenches. So we're going to take the transmission off. We're going to go ahead and take this off. The clutch pressure, oh, that's all sorts of rusty. That's going to take a minute to come off. There we go. In real life, it doesn't take this long. It takes longer. Much longer. All right, so we're going to lower the car back to where we can work on it, and it is it's stripped to nothing, so that's cool. So I can do one of two things. I can pull this whole engine, or I can disassemble it and literally stick it in my pockets. So I don't know if I want to do that. So we're gonna move the engine hoist over here. We're gonna take the engine out, and then we're gonna put this back. Put it back. We don't need it. Then you come over here and install engine on the stand. Uh-oh. Which one was it? I think it was this one. That's not a McLaren engine. I think it was, though. Let's double check before we build the wrong engine. So you can come over here and kind of hit the examination. No, not the examination mode. Which was it? Nope. Normal mode. Car status. There we go. The engine in it is... Okay, it is that engine. They put skins over the top of it, so it's kind of like a universal V12 engine, I guess. Yeah, so we got the right one. But first, we're going to dismount those tires. Separate. Oh, I have a whole collection of wheels and tires. We'll put custom wheels on it. Yep, that's what we'll do. We'll figure out the wheel size, tire size later. But let's tear into the engine. Let's get this done. For the one person that's hanging out, I appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. I don't have a whole lot going on at this very second, so that's nice to have somebody else here. Occasionally I get another little person that pops in and doesn't say hi. That's rude. That's okay. I'll be alright. So we're going to remove these camshaft caps. Yep, this engine's rusty. Needs to be rebuilt. If only I could rebuild an engine like this. That would be so cool. There's a lot of automotive YouTubers that do amazing things and just create some tremendous vehicles. I mean, just insane with just goofy amounts of power. Let's turn that. And this has, like, there's pistons, but there's no connecting anything. Like, I know it's a video game, but could you imagine finding a car like this and just being like, what in the world happened to you? Yeah, so when I was in the Army, I turned wrenches. I was working on the Bradley fighting vehicle, and pretty much anything with tracks or anything with tires or anything. So if it moved, I worked on it. And I remember the first time we pulled the engine and transmission out of one of those Bradleys. It was enormous. It's a 903 cubic inch Cummins? I believe it was Cummins? Diesel. It's just the biggest thing I'd ever seen. It's like, imagine the size of like the average couch, right? Only that's the engine and the transmission. And it was the biggest thing I'd ever seen in my life. I remember when I was in AIT, which is, you know, for those that don't know, AIT is for your training so that you can work on these vehicles and learn the basics. The basics of how to be a mechanic and how to turn a wrench, right? The one thing that got me the most was they were introducing us to these vehicles, all these really cool, you know, just tracked vehicles and tanks. And they're like, yeah, you know, before you put the ramp down, you need to honk the horn to make sure the back is all clear, which makes sense. So I was expecting like this big, like thunderous train horn, and it sounded like a Kia. It was like, ee. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? And so every time somebody honked the horn, I laughed because I'm a child. I'm just a big kid, so I got a kick out of that every single time. All right, so we're going to remove these bolts. Those are clearly rusted in there. Does anybody, one of the two viewers, do either one of you work on vehicles, or what do you do? I'm currently retired. I've got some friends that have some really cool businesses. I've got friends that are actors and friends that are in bands. I've done concert photography. I've done all sorts of stuff. It's been a good life. It's been busy. And the reality about life is that life is stressful. But it's only as stressful as you allow it to be. There we go. We can take this whole thing out. Now we can go over here. No, I want to leave. I want to leave here. No, leave. Leave? There we go. And then you just go here. So we're going to... Nope, I failed on that one. What vehicle is this for? I don't have a Land Rover. Oh, I must have had one. Took all the body parts off. Didn't repair them. And spent money. Because that's smart. I'm going to check something real quick. Hold on. I'm just going to refresh chat on my side and see if anybody's saying anything. Oh, hey, Jessica, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. my Streamlabs was being a little weird. That's why I was like, that's really weird. Nobody said anything. Here, I'll answer some questions for you. Let's see. Hi, how can I donate? I'm not sure if I have donations set up. I just kind of do this for fun. And hello. Yes, I'm sorry. I was not trying to ignore you, but I had the wrong chat up. And let's see, how old am I? How old do you think I am? Let's play that game. Jessica, how old do you think I am? And then I'll tell you if you're close. We'll give you a minute. We'll give you a minute to think about that. Now that I have fixed my chat on my end, I can actually see what people are trying to say to me. I get on here, I'm like, yeah, let's chat. And it's like, nope, I didn't even chat because I didn't see the chat. So I'll give you a minute. 40, you're very close. You're very close. I was told the other day that I looked 26 and I was like, you are being so sweet. And she was a very sweet person. I'm 46, just turned 46 on Christmas Eve. So I am retired, military, and 46. Hopefully, what is going on? Repair that. So yeah, how old are you? Wow, this is a weird song. But I do appreciate you stopping and hanging out. For the third person that just showed up, hello, I'm Justin. We were guessing my age. Jessica asked how old I was, 40. Jessica, I don't know, honestly, I don't know if I've got donations set up. I just kind of, I don't need it. You know, I appreciate it, but you know, if you want to donate to something, maybe to a charity of your choice, that would be always a good thing too. You know, but the likes or the follows, whatever the case may be, that's always helpful too. Because I just like to meet different, like-minded people. You know, people that just like goofing around online, listening to music, sometimes chatting, and talking too much. I talk a lot. So I also had a podcast, but technically, okay, here's the story. I'll let you guys in on a secret, okay? For the 3 people that are in here. Jessica, oh, that's awesome. 50, you know what? I'm gonna get distracted again. So I remember being like in high school and my parents were, you know, maybe in their 30s at that point. I'm like, oh, you guys are so old. You guys are so old. And here I am, 46, you're 53. I don't know if you feel the same way I do, but I don't feel my age at all. Like, of course, like the physical stuff, you know, like you get your aches and pains and stuff like that. It just comes with getting a little bit older. But like 40, 50, I don't see that as getting old. I see maybe getting into your 60s. Where you would start to kind of feel like, wow, I've been around the block. I've been here for a while, you know, and you know, and then maybe upwards from there. But like 46, I don't feel 46. I feel like I'm probably 22. You know, so I don't know if you feel that way, Jessica, but it's interesting. It's interesting because now my father he's 66. He's 20 years older than I am. And I still don't look at him as being like an old guy, because he's got that spirit that's just kind of like, I think he will be a child forever, you know, a child at heart. You know, of course he's got to put on the mature adult hat, you know, and little things like that. But I think he does it really well because he still plays guitar and he sings and he has people over and just enjoys life. And I think that's the, Jessica says, I mean, 35. You can't type in 53 and then claim you're 35. That's cheating. 35, definitely not old. Nope. Not at all. You know, like I said, I think once you get like mid 60s, you kind of start taking on that persona of like, yeah, I'm getting a little old, but I don't see me actually doing that. Like I've been through a lot, as far as my health. Last Christmas, not this Christmas, but the previous, I was recovering from back surgery. And and I've got a pacemaker put in, and I don't feel old. So I firmly believe that like your age, aside from being like a physical thing, is a mentality. I'm gonna convince myself of that. Yep. I think it's a mentality. So I think if you forever stay in your head young, you will always be young. That's as deep as I'm getting. That's it. What about you guys? So you retired? Yes, I was actually medically retired from the military. So it was back in like 2003 I started having heart problems. Like my resting heart rate was 183 beats a minute. So that's faster than most techno songs, right? Or house or whatever. Um and so I was like, something is wrong. I am dizzy. I feel like I'm running a marathon. They're like, oh yeah, you've got AFib and ATAC and all this, so atrial all on the top end of the heart. And they're like, we're pretty sure we can fix this. So they went in, they did an ablation, and it didn't work. Like apparently there's all sorts of these little nerve fibers within your heart that keep everything firing in a certain order, and they just didn't ablate enough of them. So they will induce like the problem that you're having, they will induce it, and they will try to duplicate it, and they will go, that nerve is screwing up, and they will zap that nerve. So they did the first one, and I went home and I recovered, and then I'm like, no, like the heart rate's still fast. And they're like, oh, okay, well, we can do that again. I'm like, okay. So anyway, they repeated this process. I think it was 3 times, until the point where they finally ablated. I swear it was like everything. They ablated all the little nerves. They're like, we made sure it's not going to happen again, but the problem now is your heart rate's too low. And I'm like, are you kidding me? They're like, no, you need a pacemaker. So I got my first pacemaker put in 2004. And the cool thing about that is that they are able to adjust, how much voltage is going up to the top half of the heart and everything else. So it's been amazing for me. I've been able to do a whole bunch of stuff, which is, so I was, after being retired, I was able to pursue some hobbies, so I got into photography, and I got into, it was funny. I spoke with this lady on my podcast, and I was like, I accidentally created this thing for me. And she's like, no, it wasn't an accident. She's like, you wanted to do it. She's like, don't ever claim anything was an accident. I'm like, I kind of fell into it, let's be honest. And so I was talking to her, and she's like, she's telling me, yeah, it's not an accident. It's supposed to be what it's supposed to be. But I fell into this position to where I was doing photos for all of the local radio stations. And my first summer, like I had zero photography experience, and I shot some amazing people. I think the first year was like Snoop Dogg and Ice Cube and all these people. Like, I grew up listening to a lot of hip hop, and so I got to meet a lot of the people that I listened to, which was amazing. There are a couple times I kind of got all starstruck, and I'm like, I have no idea what to say to these people at all. But I did that for several years. We moved around a little bit, and yeah, so I still do that once in a while. I made better friends with some of the bands that I shot, and I've maintained contact with them. So when they're in town, I do their photos for them, and that's kind of the agreement that we have. And I do it as a hobby, and I absolutely love it. Photography is one of those things to where you can express yourself through an image. And it's so weird because I will give my son my camera, and if we were both to look at something, like the same thing, right? Like you're in a park and you find a cool tree or a bench under a tree or something. We will take totally different photos of that. So it's really interesting to see what photographers are doing now. There's a lot of stuff with editing. Like it's just amazing. Do you mind me asking what you do, Miss Jessica Cox? So I do that once in a while on the side now, and you know the rest of the time I do charity work and I help out as much people as I can and just try to stay busy. The biggest downside to being retired is that one for me it was forcefully. You know, they're like you can't work. You've got too many issues. I'm like, I agree. I'm more of a liability. But the trick is just finding things to keep you busy to where your brain doesn't stop, to where you're not exercising your mind the same way. So I did go through a period to where I was just kind of sitting there. I was doing nothing and I'm like, this is really boring. Like it borderline drives you, for lack of better words, it drives you nuts. And then you start craving like I need to be challenged. I need my brain to work in a creative manner, or you know, I need to write, or I need to learn something else. And that's a huge thing, is a matter of just keeping yourself occupied so you don't get to that point to where you're upset, you know, you're in a bad place mentally. So it's a matter of just trying to figure out how to keep yourself happy, learning things sometimes you don't want to learn, but you know, ultimately just challenging yourself all the time. So occasionally I'll get on and I'll play games. Lately it's been about an hour a night, and but this has been fun so far. I have a couple people just kind of hanging out and listening to me talk, and that's always a good time. You know, I appreciate the interaction, and you know, that's kind of what this is supposed to be, right? Let's see. Was everybody's holiday good? Was it eventful? Do you guys have... Hold on. Somebody calling me. We're gonna ignore that. Give me just one sec. I am not ignoring you. I am gonna send a quick message. Unavailable right now. Just a few. So we're not getting a whole lot done right now tonight as far as repairing this vehicle, but it's been fun just kind of talking and just chatting. And I didn't realize I had so much junk in my inventory. So just to kind of flash back on this game for a second, you will just collect everything. Hold on. On Twitch. Just you ever try to send a message with just by swiping your finger? It types what it wants. So anyway, with this game, you will just absolutely just pick up random stuff because you'll just go through so many cars, and now I'm repairing all of it, which means I have junk. I collect junk. Real life, I try not to collect too much junk. Like I have sentimental things that I hang on to and little things like that, but nothing. I don't know. I went through a period where it's like there was one point I remember we kind of lost everything, and so it's like now that I have things, I don't want to get rid of them. So I have to be careful what I spend my money on, because I think I would become a hoarder. Anybody relate to that? Hold on, I'm gonna see if my chat is frozen because it's been awful tonight. All right, there we go. If I was ignoring you again, I didn't mean to. but the chat is being very strange. So yeah, so now that's a little bit about me, you know, prior service and just finding things to keep me busy and happy. And oh, I was talking about a podcast. Okay. So I started a podcast with my friend Adam Wiley. And if you don't know who that is, he is oh good lord. He's the current voice of Peter Pan, and he's the voice of one of the Smurfs. And he was in Gilmore Girls and all this stuff. And he's an amazing magician. So we were like, you know what? We should just tell stories. I'm like, that would be awesome. And he's like, and I can bring on some people. We can talk to them. And that was a really good experience. And the thing is with actors is that the only issue is that their schedule is so weird. Like, you never know when they're going to be available, when they're not going to be available, you know, when they can kind of squeeze things in. But I had so much fun doing that podcast with Adam. And I met amazing people. You know, I've met Power Rangers and musicians and all sorts of people, which I still keep in touch with. In fact, I was taking, I wouldn't say if it was kickboxing. It was more like at my own pace kickboxing from a Power Ranger here in Utah. It was amazing. All because, you know, I was able to contact him and invite him onto the podcast and talk about a fight he had coming up. And so, I mean, it's just a lot of cool stuff. You know, so the one thing I do encourage everybody to do is do stuff that makes you feel uncomfortable. I am not normally a chatty person. I am not good in social situations, which it probably sounds weird, but I promise you it's not. Like, I'm pretty awkward. You know, back in the day, I used to sell cars and do sales, and you would have to talk to people that you didn't know. And as uncomfortable as I was, I forced myself to do those things. You know, so I guess the moral to all this is one, there's not one moral. If you're bored, get busy. Keep your brain busy. It keeps you happy. And if it scares you, do it anyway. Because you never know. You never know where it's going to take you. You know, so all of your decisions lead to that, to your current point in your life. You know, you want to look back when you're older, like 46 or older, and you want to be able to be like, yeah, no, I tried that. That was fun. Or I tried that. I didn't like it. Or, you know, you at least gave it a shot, you know, and there's a lot of things that people will just automatically just, nope, I'm not going to do that. I am just absolutely not going to do that. Nope, I'll never do that. Like, I am scared to death of heights. I can't get on a 3-step ladder without my knees shaking. But if somebody said, hey, we're going to go skydiving, I would totally be down because it would terrify me. I would do it even though it scared me half to death. I mean, it's just nuts. It's kind of like people that, you know, like I like to go drive on a racetrack. You know, I love that. You know, but like I look at other people and I go, well, I don't understand why you wouldn't like that. And they're like, well, it's for the same reason you don't like to get up on heights. I'm like, okay, I get it. But then I see myself pushing those people to be like, hey, you know what? You should do it. You should do it. Do it. It's not that bad. You know, so my advice to everybody is do stuff that makes you feel uncomfortable. Even if it's just to say you did it, at least you tried. You know, find a hobby. You know, I've done everything from paint models and teaching myself 3D printing again. And, you know, I'm helping a friend of mine out. And, you know, so there's opportunities if you make them for yourselves. But as it sits right now, I'm going to log off. I'm hoping to get on tomorrow. Maybe the same. What time is it? 7? Just say 7 o'clock Mountain Time. We'll see if I can get on about 7 o'clock, about the same time. I'm going to try to be consistent because I absolutely love people popping in and saying hi and just asking about me. I love that. But as for now, I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to go find something productive to do, or unproductive. I haven't made up my mind yet. But hold on. I can't see anything on there. But thank you for all stopping by. You know, the viewers are slowly, gradually becoming more than 1 or 0. So that's an accomplishment. You know, a lot of people get discouraged. I'm not. I can talk to myself all day. But thank you for stopping by. I will be talking to you guys tomorrow, hopefully 7 o'clock. And hopefully that'll be my schedule, from like 7 to 8. So I hope that sounds good to you guys. Thank you for letting me share a little bit of myself with you. And have a good night. And enjoy your weekend. Monday's coming. Have fun at work if you can. Sometimes you can't, but, you know. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.